Go to a place. I wanna go. Go to a place. Do you want to go? Go to a place. I wanna go. Go to a place. I can take you there. I can take you there. Do you wanna go? Go to a place. I can take you there. Say go. Do you wanna go? Go to a place.
Search for it. By your side. Far and wide. By your side. Search for it.
Hello. Happy New Year. Okay, who do we have here? Who do we have up in here? Can y'all put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Shout out to Nisi Pooh, Lucky Marie in the house. Shout out to What the Funk. Yes. My spirit is very well. Thank you. Yes. What's that for? What that for? What that for? What I do? Okay. So thank you for stopping by. Welcome to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I am TJ Randolph. This is my first live for 2023. I'm kind of nervous, actually. What's that noise? Oh, hold on. I think it's Mr. Randolph. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay. So sorry about that. Well, this is the first live of the year, so I want to kind of do a little something, So I want to give your rich retired auntie vibes. How to do? Let me see. Okay, so let's get into it. You know how I do it. The announcements. Shout out to my hardworking trucker man who just got home, and all the truckers that are traveling these highways and byways, bringing us our much needed goods and services. You understand me? Keeping that supply chain moving. Shout out to my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams, whose song Noun you just heard on the intro, and you'll hear another song on the outro, okay, as we're done. Shout out to my niece, Lucky Marie, who put together the awesome intro that you have just seen and heard. Okay. Listen, there's a lot to unpack here. I've been kind of incognito because I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with the channel. And do y'all see behind me? Can y'all see behind me? I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go this way. See behind me? I got my little bookshelf for my G babies when they come over so we can read books because reading is fundamental. Yeah, please hit the like button on your way in. Listen, mods, I don't know who I'm going to have joining me today because I have started a TikTok channel, and some of the stuff I've said, I'm speaking from the heart. Y'all been rocking with me for a little over a year now, so y'all know I speak from the heart. But some people have not liked what I've been saying, so they say I'm judging and all that kind of stuff, which is true because everybody judges. But I come from the heart. So if y'all see some craziness in the chat, please, 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 delete that. Let me see. Get some, just, yes. Hi there. Red lipstick vibes in the house. I'm already starting to sweat, Jesus. Okay, listen, we got a lot to unpack today. This is serious. A lot has been happening. And I'm trying to figure out. So I'm not just going to talk about the things that are happening. I'm also going to, I like to tie it into my own personal experiences, because one of the things I hope to do is that if anybody can learn from the things that I have done wrong, so you don't have to do it. That's why I'm here. Okay. So let's see, what's the first thing we got to talk about today? I think because I'm gonna save Tyree Nichols for last. It's too much. It was just too much, but we need to talk about it. Okay. So let's start here. Shout out to Niecy Pooh Lucky Marie, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know I didn't even know who this person is, because I'm not tuned in to, hip hop like that anymore. But the reason I want to talk about it is because there is nothing new under the sun. Same game, different players. The outcome can be just as sad. So I want to talk about this for a minute. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up my PowerPoint. Shout out to Courtney Michelle, because she's always good for a PowerPoint. Always good for a PowerPoint. Let me do that here. Yeah, let me do this here. So yeah, Courtney Michelle's always good for a PowerPoint. So let's go. Let's do it. I'm going to share my screen. One moment. I'm rusty. I haven't done this in a minute, so I got to remember, what am I doing? Okay. Okay, here we go. Let us go. Share my screen. Okay, so we have here, it is my understanding that this young woman who's 23, she is with a guy that she believes she loves, and it is a very toxic relationship. It is my understanding that they fight each other. It is my understanding that she has had 3 other pregnancies, which she has terminated. So she has decided that she is going to have this baby. My question would be, if you have been pregnant 3 other times, what were you doing to prevent it? And obviously the answer is nothing. My mom said to me, a child is not a way to get a man, and it's definitely not a way to keep one. Hey, Courtney Michelle, it's not a way to keep one. Also, as it relates to me, I remember, again, I was pregnant. Y'all know my story. I've been very honest about it, that I was not responsible. I was reckless with taking birth control pills because, you know, I was reckless. And I remember my best friend said to me, I said, I wasn't trying to get pregnant. And I had been saying that for years and years and years. She said, that's a lie. I said, what you mean? I said, I wasn't trying to get pregnant. She said, you wasn't trying to prevent it either. And I'm like, and I was kind of like, well, what do you mean? And she said, TJ. And I had to go ahead and stop after I got over my, righteous indignation. I had to be honest. She was right. Because how many of us, there's so many more forms of birth control pills. Birth control now than it was 30 years ago when I got pregnant with my daughter. But during those birth control, I would miss some, then double up, miss some. So that's what I'm talking about. But the interesting thing about it, when I was determined not to get pregnant again, guess what? I didn't. After I had my daughter, if I didn't take no vitamins, if I didn't take nothing else, I took my birth control pill and never got pregnant again. Now, the only foolproof thing to not get pregnant is to not have sex. Okay? We know this. But when I took accountability for the fact that I endeavored not to get pregnant again, especially out of wedlock, and guess what? I didn't. There was a guy that I loved, like I've talked about him before. Even though he and I didn't work out, he's been, a friend to my daughter all through the years up into college. And he had other children. And I remember when we started dating, he only had the one child and I only had the one child. And when he got with other women, these other women had children by him. And guess what? He was never with them for long. And I stated that as much as I believed that I loved him, I did not want to get pregnant, especially if he had not married me. And I never wanted him to feel as if I got pregnant to try to keep him. So my point being with this young lady is this is sad because it appears that she has been using deletions as a form of birth control, and that is not what we should be doing. Because each time she's doing that, she's ripping out a piece of her own soul. So what I want to do right now, I want to look at the video reaction that Lucky did, because it was very telling. And I want to talk about it for a minute. Okay, I want to talk about it for a minute. So I'm going to pull up this video. I think I have it. But before I do that, I want to show you, and I'm sure many of you have seen, because again, I don't know anything about this young lady because again, I'm not in hip hop or, reality TV. So I'm like, I've heard the name in these, in feeds, but I'm like, I don't know who these people are. So when I saw this today. This is apparently what she looked like before she got with this man.
I'm too classy to be touched. I paid them all in dust. I'm stingy with my love. Forever I'm that girl. Beat you diamonds and pearls. Oh baby, I'm too classy to be touched. I paid them all in dust.
Okay, so we see her. She was an athlete. Lucky Marie says she was a beast on the track. Oh, okay. Thank you. So when I do that, okay, got you. Thank you. She used to run track in Baltimore. So, but she's completely transformed into something that is not recognizable from the person that she was before. So now I'm going to remember to mute. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. Let's see here. Where is that? I had it queued up and I messed up that quick. Hold on a minute.
Now, I must say, it just seems like everybody is weighing in on this particular situation because we both can obviously see that this was a toxic relationship, that a child should have been the last thing brought out of this. This is also her fourth pregnancy, considering she has already had 3 abortions. And she had made it clear that if she got pregnant again, she was absolutely keeping her child. Now, I believe that people should be able to make whatever decision they want with their own children. But I also think that it is very important that you become prepared mentally for what you're about to endure. Now, since then, Krishan has, of course, responded to Blueface and Bobby Lights, and she expressed how Blueface is just upset and he should just go ahead and let her keep her own baby and make her decision.
All right. I got something to say. Okay, so Blue, Mr. Jonathan's. We broke up. We broke up. Whatever, we break up every other weekend. Whatever. Long story short, I found out I was pregnant today on his birthday. We're arguing about something else, completely, totally different. He's been smart and evil and spiteful. Knowing whatever he want to say, I don't know. I really just put the news out because I want all the bad stuff to just.
Okay, there is more, excuse me, that's coming. But do you hear a child in the background already? I'm assuming it's not hers. You hear a child in the background. Okay, that was my question, because she's missing a tooth. It's obvious that from the previous picture she had her teeth. The fact that she does not value herself enough is not uncommon. I didn't value myself enough, even until later ages. I was not in physically abusive relationships because I've shared with you, I saw my mom deal with that. But there was other kinds of abuse that I allowed myself to endure. But she now, and we can't blame everything on him. Got to blame some stuff on her. She has devalued herself to the form to the point of now she has become disfigured in a sense of her teeth. Let's continue. Hold on a minute. So let's continue. I'm gonna go ahead and mute, and I'm gonna get my coffee.
Do its course, because that's what it's just gonna do. I'm not scared to say I'm pregnant. I'm saying it. I'm pregnant because I'm actually keeping it. I for sure know it's his baby. He's doing this maybe for clout. I'm not really sure. People have a spiteful bone in their body. And story real quick. I'm on social media because I said I'm having a baby. You should just let me say what I'm having. Like, and then it's funny because you're the dad. Like, I know for sure you're the dad. Like, why are we playing? I haven't been sexually active with anybody else but you. And like, what are you talking about? I'm not that dumb. I play dumb, but I ain't dumb at all. But it's just like, who am I to announce a pregnancy, like, and not know who the dad is? I wouldn't even said anything. I found out today on your birthday, and I said it on your birthday, because that's what it is. Happy birthday, bitch. You hear me?
Okay, I think, did she say happy birthday, bitch? Or happy birthday? What? Okay, so one thing I will share, young people, and again, like I said, I'm gonna start. I didn't start off this way, but I need to go ahead and start off this way. For my old heads and even some of my new heads, young heads, for those who remember the song by Salt and Pepper, Push It. It starts out words to the effect, this dance ain't for everybody, only the sexy people. What I'm talking about right now, it ain't for everybody. Only the people who care about other people and who want to help other people. So that's why I'm talking about this. That's why I'm sharing my experiences in hopes that it'll help. But it ain't for everybody. I get that. Let's go.
And then people that be playing with people that don't need to be played with, they either go to a hospital, go to jail, or they die. Like, tread lightly. Evilness is not good. The karma, I want to announce that I having a child. You don't have to take that moment away by saying weirdo shit and you're going to be the same eating my or, you know what I'm saying, being weird. Like, please stop treading. For real. And then he's just mad because I lied about going to Baltimore. I said I was in LA when really I went to Baltimore, Maryland to see my mom. I felt sick. I felt weird. He said some evil shit before I got out the bed. I wasn't even going to go.
Okay, she's saying that she's scared of him, but you see, let me go ahead and fast forward it. There is a situation here that she's actually fighting. So let's talk about this for a minute. Now, okay, this statement here, he is saying, now again, Lucky and I have talked about this. If you're friends, you don't necessarily need to take the social media to talk about what you could call somebody in person about. That is a fact. But what he has said is not wrong based on the behavior. And I'm a layperson. This is not wrong. And I'm gonna toggle around a bit. It says here, one day, yes, much love. He was telling her the truth. You know, Jack Nicholson said, in the movie, you can't handle the truth. But what he said was not wrong. Let's go.
You went live until everybody was sending me the video of you dragging me. You start off, first of all, this gay ass nigga, I am gay. So don't say it or don't you, yeah, I am gay and you're barbaric. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no need to like do the name calling thing when all I said was, my love, you are not ready to have a baby. And that's all I felt. I felt like I wanted to tell you with love so you can have more time to grow. You have more time to find yourself. You have more time to mature. So I guess now I know.
So we're not going to go into any more of this video because shout out to Lucky Marie, she covered it. But again, what Bobby said was true. And see what I found here as of late, no matter if you say it with love or if you say it with sarcasm, some people just don't want it. And what I've learned, unless you're co-signing people's bull crap, that's all they want. And here's the travesty of it. Those people who co-sign your bull crap are not necessarily going to be there to pick up the pieces for you. Okay? They're not. So let's get back to the PowerPoint because I want to show y'all something. And see, after and later in the video, she's already identified she's pregnant. And then later in the video, and I'll put the I have the link in here to go see Lucky's video. She's having a fist fight in the streets, pregnant, drinking. But you say you want to have a baby. Why? Why? Why would you bring a child into that? So again, she's going to do what she's going to do. But anybody else is listening, if you have daughters, nieces, please share. Because this is not a new situation. These are just different players. And there's a decision that needs to be made. But she's not prepared to make it. So let's go here. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. I want to show y'all this. I want to show this to you and get down to the brass tacks. I want to show y'all this. And y'all, some of y'all seen it before. This is me. I'm pregnant. I'm 26 and pregnant. Okay? I'm going to tell you about the reaction that my family had. I was living in California at the time. I was working with Sony Pictures Entertainment, entry-level job, but pretty decent for a young person. I called my mother and my aunt on three-way. And I said, Mommy, guess what? I'm going to have a baby. I was expecting congratulations. I heard it was deafening silence. Deafening silence. My mom and my aunt, who's like a second mom to me because she's my mom's older sister. Deafening silence. I had to say, hello? Hello? And you could hear that it was not the reaction that I expected. Let's continue, shall we? My best friend and roommate, y'all know, I've talked about her many times. We've been friends since we were 8 years old. When I told her, she cried. And it was not tears of joy. Why did she cry? Because she knew I wasn't ready. She knew I wasn't ready. They told me that. I didn't like it. But I wasn't ready. Because before I was pregnant, I was one of those people that, a young single person like y'all, like many of y'all, I would buy a new handbag. Back in the day, it was Dooney and Burke and Coat before I paid my rent, before I paid my bills. I was irresponsible. I wanted immediate gratification. And then I wanted someone to love. Right? But they told me I wasn't ready. So I had a couple of options. I could continue to be the person that they thought I was, or I could rise to the occasion. My conduct during my pregnancy, I was all over the place. Again, not knowing what's going on, the emotions, the hormones. I want to fight everybody. I didn't. but I was, attitude, because emotions and hormones, I didn't understand. But fortunately for me, back then, you had a different climate where people respected and I guess realized that pregnant women were crazy, and they said, oh, she's just tripping. But now it would be something completely different. So, and I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything. I was just hormonal. But here's another thing. At the time, I had not been, my mental health condition had not been diagnosed. This is 1993. My mental health condition wasn't diagnosed until 2006-7. Okay. So now let's talk about Miss Christiane. Okay, that's a different story. Let's get back to it. It is apparent that there are some things going on with her, that she needs help. So what Bobby Light said to her is absolutely right. Absolutely right. And the sad part about it is many people don't realize the people that tell you the hard truths are really the ones that care about you. They're really the ones that care about you. And so with that, I had to make some decisions. It's so funny. I started thinking about my child that I was about to bring into this world because she didn't ask to be here, whatever the circumstances. That was my focus. Too many young women are having children that are not ready. And here's the thing, it's okay if you're not ready. Then if you don't want to, terminate, there are too many people who want children. But it's not fair to the children to bring them into your foolishness. It's just not. It's not right. Just like this young lady here. Let me go to it. This young lady here. I did a show, a little commentary on TikTok about this woman, about the fact that she starved her baby to death and no one was paying attention. These are some of the comments that I got. Says we adopted and do so and had 3 home inspections to prove they had money, bank, employment, family support, and more. Yes. But check this comment out. It's okay to help, but not to take advantage of the situation. I'm not really sure what's meant by that. If taking advantage of the situation is talking about it, then I guess I'm taking advantage of the situation because, see, again, the problem is we have too much of this. Too much of it. And then there's this comment. Parents always come first. Don't neglect yourself for a baby parent. Okay, what? These kids turn on us parents when they get older anyway. Rest in peace, though. Okay, here's the thing. Parents, some of us have something to do with that. Yeah, because some of us, they see us thinking about ourselves. So again, they're going to be thinking about themselves because they pattern the behavior they see. Or you spent your time saying yes all to everything to your kid and not making them work for stuff. So when you start saying no, they want to go off because you parent, did not set the proper boundaries and standards. But the fact that this comment says, don't neglect yourself for baby, these kids. So you're supposed to just forget about your child because they're going to turn on you? What the hell is this? So when this baby was helpless and now gone. But the mom, she obviously didn't neglect herself because she got lashes, hair, nails. This is a problem. And this is going to be, if she doesn't get any help, it could be Christiane's problem too, because the baby didn't ask to come here. So I said, then don't have children. Again, ignorance abounds. The person states, so if you're on an airplane, you put the mask on the child first. Okay, see, everybody want to go to a damn extreme. Everybody want to go to an extreme because they got to be right. got to be right. You know what? This is true. We're not encouraging her. We're not. No, we're not encouraging her to have deletions. Absolutely not. But if you are afraid and don't know what to do, if anything else, I got to bring this up. If anything else, let's see here. Do what this young lady did. Do what this young lady did if you are not sure. If you don't know what to do what this young lady did. Let's go.
Help leaves her baby in the hands of strangers.
It happened at a restaurant in Jersey City this week, and as CBS 2's Kevin Rincon reports, it was all caught on camera.
Not sure where to go or what to do, this 14-year-old girl decided to go into this restaurant. Seen here going to the counter with a sense of desperation.
She looks at me with these like really sad, terrified eyes, and she asked me for help.
That's when Elise Scott got up, sanitized her hands, and stepped in.
I sat down, I checked the baby's vitals, the heart rate was strong, but the breathing was really labored.
As she was helping the teenage mom, left. Luckily for Scott, she's had training in CPR and first aid, not to mention she herself is a mother of 3.
I was just so happy once I got the oxygen mask onto the baby and she started to cry because that meant that, you know, she was going to be okay.
Scott's boyfriend, Walter, abandoned as a baby himself, was emotional.
Wow, this is, whoa. She's crying.
Oh, you're hungry. Oh, my goodness.
He captured the moment that newborn could be heard crying. Here at El Patron, the teamwork of a restaurant owner and a customer that's created a special bond, knowing they help save a life.
There's been so many incidents where she could have put the baby in a trash can or left the baby with a stranger that would have done some harm to the baby.
She did the best thing she could do under the circumstances. You could have left the baby anywhere. You couldn't even be alive, but instead, she allowed the baby to have a second chance with at least somebody.
Police were able to catch up with that 14-year-old girl. She was taken to the hospital. She will not be charged. That's because of the state's safe haven law, which allows parents with babies up to 30 days after they're born to drop them off safely at a hospital, police station, or firehouse. In Jersey City, Kevin Rincon, CBS 2 News.
Incredible situation. The baby girl is being treated at Jersey City Medical Center and will be put up for adoption.
A teenager desperate for help leaves her baby.
Okay, so what the funk you're asking, say, are they seriously? Yeah. She's not a woman. She's a child. She's a child. And here's the interesting thing about it. She did, as a child, did what some grown women are not doing. She didn't know what to do. She gave the baby a chance. No, she shouldn't have been having sex, but she did. She gave birth. See, and we don't know. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. See, again, I share my story. There's a chance that if she was so desperate to do that, obviously, again, we're speculating here. There are a couple of things. It could have been a grown man. She could have been sexually assaulted. We don't know. But what we do know is that instead of, like the lady said, putting the baby in a dumpster or giving the baby to somebody, she did what she knew to do. She knew what she knew to do. Well, they said the umbilical cord was still attached. So if the baby in the And in the story, the lady, the woman, the bystander, the Samaritan said that the girl had blood on her pants. So if not birthed that day, within a couple of days, because again, like the woman who's the nurse said, well, it's in a different video, the baby was the breathing was labored. The breathing was labored. And that's why they needed to get oxygen on the baby. And that's when they heard the baby cry. So if not that day, it was within a day. So yeah. Better that than, and so again, to going back to the woman that I did the story about, the 23-year-old. There are too many stories. There's another story. I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to put it in the description, of a 19-year-old whose boyfriend, another dysfunctional situation, was abusing her child, her 18-month-old. He calls the mother and she says, don't report it because I won't be able to hide the evidence. Excuse me? And this happens too. She would have gone to jail. Absolutely, she would have gone to jail. Well, you mean if she allowed the baby to die, or if it would have died after the fact? I don't know. And that's a possibility too, because again, there are many houses. Yes, she was 14. That's why I said that wasn't a woman. She was a child. My grandson just turned 15. That's a child. So that's what I'm talking about here. So my prayer, if for Miss Christiane, honey, really, whether you like it or not, Bobby he's looking out for you. He's looking out for you. And real friends tell you the hard truths. I have several friends who used to say to me, one of them is deceased now. She said, you're not going to like this and you might be mad at me, but you need to hear this. And she would tell me, I'd be mad, wouldn't talk to her for a couple of days or weeks, but later we'd be talking again because she cared about me. Wasn't always co-signing my mess. That's what friends and relatives do. But this situation here is very toxic. And honey, if you don't get yourself out of and get some help, you're going to either end up in jail or you're going to end up gone. And by her own words, she talks about every time that she's going to jail. Why would you want that for yourself? And listen, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Yeah, I'm coiffed and all this, but I came from a hard life too. Yeah. Before moving to Oklahoma, in Los Angeles. For real. The jungle of Los Angeles. So let's continue on. I give what I like to think are examples, because again, even though things are different, it is harder now. It is harder now for when it was when I brought Danielle into the world, but it was harder for me than when my mom brought me into the world, or just circumstances are different. So here we go. Let's go. I'm going back to my PowerPoint. I'm trying to help somebody today. I keep messing up. Okay. Who is that? Who is that? You went to Audubon? Listen, had we stayed, I would have went to Audubon and then Dorsey High School, but my mom moved us. So who is that? Who this woman. That's your auntie. That's your auntie, 27, and a fat Danny. A fat Danny. Didn't know what I was doing, scared out of my mind. I needed help. Her father and I wasn't getting along. He wasn't helping me. He wasn't giving me the support I needed. I'm not necessarily talking about financial. I needed help with our child. He wasn't. I relocated. I moved to Oklahoma. I moved back to Oklahoma because I had her in California. I moved back to Oklahoma to be around my family because I needed support, my grandparents, my mother. I moved. I had to finish my education. I started my degree, didn't finish it. I already knew I was a statistic of being a single mom. I didn't want to be an uneducated single mom, so I finished that degree. I had the credit hours, didn't have the GPA. I finished that. And then, okay, well, what do I do now? I was working jobs wherever I could get them. Ultimately had 2 of them. And even still, with my mom supporting, sometimes she didn't want to support. Sometimes I would go to drop my daughter off and she said, I don't feel like it today. What? Yeah. So I packed my baby up and took her to school with me. Yeah. Took working 2 jobs, Southwest Airlines and for Oklahoma City Public Schools. 2 part-time jobs. School. Government assistance, yes. The government was my boyfriend for a minute. Food stamps and WIC. I'm not ashamed of it because it was there to help me until I was able to help myself. Decided to go to the military. Is that what I would have dreamed for myself? Absolutely not. I was already in the reserve, but I didn't think about going in active duty, but I had to feed my child. And here, this young lady, she has financial resources that I didn't have, but there's still something she doesn't have. She does not have the state of mind to be a mom. She doesn't have the state of mind to be a mom. And here I didn't either. But she made me refocus. She was worth that. She was worth that. She was worth that. And here, y'all know. Y'all have heard my daughter talk about the stuff that I have done wrong. Y'all know. Because we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. But at the very least, I had to refocus, redirect. She deserved that. So my prayer for this young, I'm not going to give my prayer for this young woman, because she has resources, again, financial resources that I didn't have. Young lady, you can have that for yourself. You can have that for yourself. You're worth more than that. You're beautiful. You can show that you can be committed to yourself, your physical self. You can do it. You have an ethic, a work ethic. You obviously had to have a work ethic to maintain your athleticism. You can do that. You deserve that. Don't you think you're worth that, though? That's the issue. And I get it. I didn't either. But your auntie here, again, I'm on the other side, so I'm telling you that you can. But you got to want it, and you're going to need to break away from him before you kill yourself or him or this baby. Okay, so that's enough of that. Moving on. That's enough of that. Let's get into this right here. Moving on. Next up, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about Kayla Kelly. We're going to talk about her. And this is very important. How many of you all have heard about the Kayla Kelly story here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard about the Kayla Kelly story in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is very heart-wrenching. We're talking about Kayla Kelly. Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard about this story. Okay. So I'm assuming you haven't. So I'm going to bring her up because I want you to see this woman. Okay, so what the Funk has heard about it. I'm going to bring this story up because it's a very sad story. Very sad story. Okay, so here you have Miss Kayla Kelly. 31 years old, I believe. She met a guy on a dating site. They were together for, I guess, 6 months. She knew him under the name Kevin Brown. Turns out his actual name is Ocaster Ferguson. He was married. Once she found that out, apparently she threatened to go to his wife to tell his wife. And on the 11th of January, she came up missing. The friends reached out to authorities because they hadn't heard from her for several days. Okay. Then a few days later, her car was found. And a few days after that, her body was found. So let me back up. Apparently, there was she found a group on social media in some shape, form, or fashion to find out that not only was he married, but he had also been dating other women. So they came together, I guess to compare notes about this man. And that's when she confronted him and threatened to go to his wife. They say blackmailed him, and that's what happened with her. Now, here's the thing. I need you all to understand that I am not saying that whatever she did, blackmail, she did not deserve that. What I am saying, though, ladies, we must be careful. Long gone are the days that you can confront a man, especially about something like that, and expect to walk away, because people are crazy. People are crazy. So I'm going to read this article here. This is the guy right here. Let me show this to you. So this is her. This is him. Okay. This is him. And it reads, now Ferguson sits in the Collin County Jail as investigators say the missing woman's car was found was burned out. Kelly whereabouts are known. Again, that was a few days ago. We know now that they have been found. During the initial interviews, it was learned that Kelly had a boyfriend named Kevin and had recently found out he was married, authorities said. Kelly told friends she was going to blackmail Kevin. Friends and family advised Kelly that they did not want to talk to her about dating a married man. Okay, I messed that up. So no one had any further information about Kevin. The next day, Frisco police discovered her vehicle. The car was burned beyond recognition. Deputies said they checked out the duplex in McKinney where she lived. They found her dog there. The dog was without food or water and had to relieve itself on the floor. So it lets you know it had been a couple of days. Okay, Ferguson landed on their radar when they checked Kinney's phone records. Investigators said they ran a background check claiming to discover, apparently they ran a background check claiming to discover that his wife reported their 2004 Lexus stolen. Authorities said they found the vehicle in the area of Kelly's duplex. They executed a search warrant, allegedly finding gloves, duct tape, and a blanket in the Lexus. The last time Kelly's phone was used was on January 10th, 6:59. The last location of her phone was in the area of Ferguson's work in the Dallas area. So, I got a story to tell. Again, I like to bring it home. And see, I know that, when you meet somebody online, really anywhere, you don't know who you're meeting. Well, here's the thing. Yeah. And see, and they have been dating for 6 months. Okay. So when you're dating somebody online or regardless, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with. Even when I met Mr. Randolph for our first date, our second date, I took a picture of him. He didn't know I was taking a picture of him. I sent his phone information. I took a picture of his license plate. I sent it all to my mama, my daughter, my sister, all. All. And then because, again, I want to see his driver's license. I want to see some proof of a bill to see, if he was who he said he was. It's like that. I needed to see it. And if he would have had a problem showing it to me, exit stage left. So I have a story that it's been about 4 or 5 years ago. I had a relative come visit. We hadn't seen her in many years. So of course we were catching up. There's about 4 of us sitting around the table. We're catching up. She's telling us that she's engaged. We're happy for her. She showed us a picture of her fiance. I'm like, gosh, he looks familiar. And I said, no, okay, it had to be more than 5 years ago because it was way before I met Mr. Randolph. And I said, he looks familiar to me. I think he reached out to me. So another person that was there, she said, I think he reached out to me too. So we conduct a sting, if you will. So I sent him a message. I said, maybe this was way before, maybe this was way before y'all got together or whatever. So I go to the site and send a message. And so does the other friend go send a message. Because again, maybe this was before they got together. This Negro responds back to both of us while we're all together. And she's able to see this. So she calls him and asks him about it. And of course, he denies it. But the evidence is right there. So of the 4 women that were at the gathering, 3 of us have been in contact with the same man, and one of them was engaged to him. So it's tricky. But I'm going to say where this young woman was concerned, I'm going to venture to guess there was something that made her question if he was being honest with her. So what I'm saying to you ladies, if you find yourself in that situation, do not, and again, I watched too much Snapped, Fatal. I don't watch too much of that. Once you have decided to be done with them, do not see them again. Do not talk to them again. Because again, y'all know the man that I met who put his hands on me, I met him online. He was a liar. I think he was a drug addict. All those things that I found out. And there were signs. There were signs that I chose to ignore. I chose to ignore. That ultimately could have resulted in me losing my life had my brother not been there. And not only do I still bear the emotional scars, because I still get a little PTSD if I see someone, I get really anxious if I see someone that resembles him. And it's been since that was in 2017. And I still have the scar on my knee. So what I'm saying to you ladies, we must be vigilant because we don't know who we're dealing with. And here's the thing, people can be who they want to be online. People can be who they want to be online, but we mustn't be so desperate. And I'm going to go say desperate because obviously I was. Because had I really been about my business, I wouldn't have dismissed or excused the signs that were right before me. Because of course, once he's out of my life, I'm looking back, I'm like, this. And even when he was living in my house, yeah, he lived in my house. Don't do that, ladies. He started dating someone while he was still living in my house. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, guess Eugene, vetting. And the vetting continues. And it's really unfortunate because my heart goes out for her family, her friends, because y'all know people can live double lives. Y'all heard my daughter say her father lived a double life when he was dating me. Had a whole nother fiance. From the time he met me. And I approached him. I did. I have never had a problem taking the initiative. But I didn't know he was engaged, but he knew. Lived a whole nother life. And I was finding out about that life way after my daughter was on the earth. Lying. So, but again, even when I think about it, looking back, even after that, there were signs. But because I was so in love, I chose to ignore them. And when we choose to ignore them, it's because we're saying we're afraid of letting go of something. And so if we're afraid of letting go of something, it says, what we really think of ourselves. So we justify because I don't want to let it go. But if it's really about something, it's not, it'll come into fruition. But the fear keeps us from doing what we know we should do. The fear and what we think about ourselves prevents us from doing what we know we should do when the bullshit starts to become apparent to us. Okay? So I'm saying to you ladies, particularly when you, and again, it's particularly young ladies, when you meet somebody online, and there's another story of a woman who met this guy online, he took her life, and they hadn't been dating very long. So obviously, to Eugene's point, there was not much vetting going on, and it's, you don't know what the mentality of these people are, men and women. You don't know. So before Mr. Randolph came to my house, we had meetings in a couple of other places, but also too, we had extensive telephone conversations. So it gave me an idea of what he was about. You got to do that. Extensive telephone conversations, not text conversations, whether it be FaceTime or on the phone, and ask real questions, not just the superfluous, stuff. So you can find out what kind of temperament this person has. This woman has lost her life. And ladies, when we find out that the man has another woman or married, move around. Don't threaten to talk to the wife. Don't. Because chances are, even if you do talk to the wife, she's gonna stay with him anyway. Because that relative I told you, she stayed with him anyway. Now I ain't talked to her since then. Please hit the like button. Okay, so that's that. The last thing for today is Tyree Nichols. Tyree Nichols. Put a 1 in the chat if you all saw the videos last night. Put a 1 in the chat if you saw the videos last night. Vincent, you ain't said nothing but a word. Yes, absolutely. Yes. My niece is in college right now. So she had these guy friends, and my son-in-law, my daughter's husband, because before school started, she was staying with them. And so this guy that had taken interest in her had come over to their house. And my son-in-law is a big guy. And my niece told me that the guy said, he scares me. I'm like, good. Good. Yeah. So you saw the video last night. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to take it. But I decided to watch it. And my heart just ached. My heart ached. So I'm going to take a few moments. When you all saw it, I want you to tell me, what did you think when you saw it? When you saw the movie? Please put in the chat your reactions when you saw the video or the videos. Please put in the chat what your response when you saw the videos. And then I'm going to tell you what I saw, because I had questions. Let me know what you thought when you saw the video. This young man, yes, this young man, beautiful smile, immediately, yeah, okay, hold on. Check it out. They immediately came in hot. They came in hot from the onset. You could hear Tyree trying to de-escalate. He's in shock. Asking, what did I do? He's in shock. Immediately in that moment, he's probably thought, I'm going to die. They came in hot, calling him bitch, Get the fuck out the car. All this for a traffic stop? Wait a minute. What? No. What? What? They came in hot. So you have that. Oh, it was now you taking it to something I had no idea. Realistic vibe. You're absolutely right, Miss Ty. They came in hot, and then when he took off running, they were mad that they had to run after him. They were mad about that. As I watched the first take before I saw the high level view, and they're sitting around talking, it's like they at the club. It's almost like they didn't even see that they had done anything wrong. So it goes back to what we were talking about. It's a culture. It's a culture. Because it's like they was, mess with and dapping it up. Yeah, man, this motherfucker. I mean, they're police officers. Okay? They police officers. Yeah, I saw that too. I hope they stomped the shit out of them. Did y'all get that? So initially they talking like, that they don't think that they did any wrong. But I'm paying attention that the body cams are only certain angles, and then you can see that sometimes they took it off and put it someplace else. But then it starts to dawn on them. We went too far. Because one of them start saying, oh yeah, came for my gun, tried to get my gun. Lie. He had to be on something. Again, trying to justify. Another one limping so he can show like he done been through the battle. Again, trying to make justifications why their actions were okay. You can see him trying to come up with stuff. But then there's that sky cam. Then there's that sky cam. When you can see what's really going down. You can see the multiple kicks to the head. Then comes that sky cam. Because I was talking to Mr. Randolph on the phone and, telling what I saw. Because again, from their angles, I really couldn't see. I'm thinking, yes, excessive, but I'm thinking I hadn't seen anything. Because I was trying to figure out, how did 5 officers end up on the scene? I was trying to think, how 5? How? And then, then I said, so it started from an initial traffic stop, and then he took off running. So that's when they called in for a backup. So that's how they all converged. The young man was trying to run home to get to his mother. Man, I got chills. When I heard him call his mother, that was too much for me. They held him up. Yes. Yeah. But did anybody else wonder, other than me, why didn't any of the neighbors come outside? Did anybody else wonder, why didn't nobody come outside? When they heard all of this ruckus, all of this screaming, why nobody came outside since everybody got cameras? Was it just me that wondered that? Because I'm like, it's crazy. At least, you know, maybe there'll be some video coming out that people will be filming through their window. But in a time when everybody has cameras, nobody was outside. And it was like 8 o'clock at night. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. So I was talking to Mr. Randolph, and like I said, you know, initially from the body cams, I really couldn't see, you know, what was going on, but the sky cam you see was cracking off. And then after that, they keep him there. He was like there for like 15 minutes. Brain probably swelling. No rendering of aid. You see the first responders standing around. I'm gonna go ahead and tell the truth and shame the devil. Every last, no, except one that I saw, all black men. All black men. All black men. Now I'm gonna go ahead and keep it 1,000. Had that been some white officers, people would have been burning shit down. Am I lying? I need to know, am I lying? Had it been some white officers, it would have been Watts riot. It would have been all of that. The 1992, it would have been all of that. All of it. They would have burned that shit down. And then the mother saying when they came to her house saying that he's been taken into custody, we had to spray him. Now we had to kick his fucking ass to death. Here's the thing. Check it out. I did a TikTok video yesterday. And I said, just like love has no color, hate has no color. And that's why I said on my channel, whether it be this or TikTok, I'm not going to pedestalize one race to vilify another. Not doing it. I call it as I see it, no matter who's doing it. Because in my life, I've had just as many people were of other races be supportive and help me in my personal life and in my career that as has been people of my color. Yeah. Yeah, I've had both. Do I know racism exists? Absolutely. Do I know discrimination exists? Absolutely. But the crap is wrong, no matter who's doing it. They lied to that. Okay. Yes. But here's the thing. Rebuild the police culture nationwide. Nationwide. Because we've heard about these types of stories all over the country. And here's another thing that Attorney Crump talked about was that that officer, I think in New York or New Jersey, somewhere, who intervened, she lost her job and had to fight to get her job back for 10 years for intervening. So if she had to fight to get her job back or be reinstated for 10 years, go back 10 years, let you know how long this thing been going. Let you know how long it's been going. It's a culture. Hey, Bolo. Let me see. We've got some comments here. Lied to her face. Mm-hmm. And what I said is unfortunate. I said, just because someone looks like you, don't mean they care about you. Because what I witnessed, and like I said, I'm talking to Mr. Randolph, and I'm seeing one kid. I'm like, oh, I'm just literally, oh my gosh, kicking him, and he handcuffed. Yeah, he's squirming around, but he handcuffed. He can't do nothing. Can't do nothing. And then going back, y'all know I love my, I love my firstborn nephew, Ryan Spunk Adams. Several years ago, before I met Mr. Randolph, I remember, and this is in Oklahoma City, he has a street musician's license where he can play his horn on the street. A lot of times he would play before these the Thunder games. So one particular time, these police officers that were on bicycles, they drove around. He said he said he could tell that they about to come back. Now I want you to hear it. It's him, he's black, and his friend, I'll just call him Matt, who's not black, who's white. Ryan had his vendor's license. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Ryan had, but Matt didn't. So, like Tyree, they came around. You got to move. You got to move. And so Ryan's asking, where you want me to move to? I got my, So Ryan's asking questions. They didn't like that. And we're like, where can I move to? Where can I move to? Before you know it, they done slammed my nephew up against the car. Now, when they slam my nephew up against the car, Matt starts filming. Okay? They tell Matt, who didn't have, because the first thing they asked for when they came around was the street musician's license, which my nephew had, Matt didn't. Then when Matt starts filming, they threatened him and said, if you don't get out of here, we're going to take you in too. So, I'm heated. So I get involved. I hire my nephew an attorney to find out what's going on. My mom was afraid because, again, the culture of policing. And so by the time they took my nephew to, by the time he got out, they looked at what he was charged with because they never told him what he was charged with. Okay. When they got the report, it showed disorderly conduct and something else. Just like with this situation with Tyree, they told his mom they had to take him in for some bogus shit they made up. Yeah. For some bogus shit they made up. My mom was terrified. I was like, we're going to fight this. We're going to fight it. My mom was scared because, again, the culture, like Red Lipstick Vibe saying, she was afraid that because of the culture, they would come after my nephew and delete him. Make it personal. Make it personal. I was talking to my husband, and it goes to, and there's some I believe there's some support for this theory, in my opinion, that because of the wages that they give these positions like police officers, teachers, you're getting, and I'm not even gonna put teachers in it. You get the bottom of the barrel. You get the bottom of the barrel. Most of whom probably need psychiatric evaluations their damn selves. But this gives them an opportunity to act out their frustrations, their anger issues on unsuspecting citizens that they're supposed to serve and protect. Yeah. Oh, stop the madness. What? So again, because of that, you get the bottom of the barrel. Who probably, I'm going to go ahead and go there, who probably, because they weren't really doing anything in their real lives, okay, probably underperformers in other aspects. They said, well, I'm going to just go into the police force. Because of the standards is not what it should be. But you know what? Everything rises and falls on leadership. Spoken from a military woman here, Army and Navy. Hua. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So my shout out to the police chief, but again, the supervisors. Did any supervisor come to the scene at all? At all? This young man is gone. Uh-oh. This man is gone. So every mother of a, and here's the thing, I'm going to go ahead and keep it 100 with you. I get really nervous because I have a nephew who is disabled due to a traumatic brain injury that he suffered at the age of 5. He's 27 now. I get nervous because sometimes he just doesn't quite understand everything that you're trying to say to him because it takes him a while to process information and to articulate. I get nervous that one day he may encounter officers like that. And because he's not able to articulate, they may deem that as resistance and justify their treatment of him. Because it is clear when you watch that video that the young man was having difficulty breathing. He was going in and out of consciousness. And they probably just chalked it up to, oh, he's just probably just acting. Never considering the fact that the man is dying. Hey, Red Lipstick.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm right. See, you about to hit a chord now.
Yeah.
I understand where you are because some of you know, I have a child with autism. Well, he's a grown man now. He's 19. And he is 6'3", dark African chocolate, 345 pounds. Do you know how scared I am to have him go outside by himself?
Yes.
Just to know that anytime he could be in the car with his pop or with LT, and they get pulled over by some rogue team like this. And because, like you said, it takes him a minute to understand what you're trying to say to him, to comprehend the commands, that they just go off on him.
Yep.
I fear that all the time. And I don't know if, I'm an advocate for in the autism community, and I talk with parents all the time in trying to give tidbits on how to, protect our kids when we're out and about. And it's a fear that all of us have. And it's crazy because it's not just us Blacks. Because one thing that I'm working with LT is with the response of police officers and law enforcement with people with disabilities and other related issues.
Yeah.
Because it's totally different.
Because some disabilities you can't see.
Exactly. Because when you look at my son, you wouldn't know that he had autism until he opened up his mouth. Exactly. Until he do something, do he stem or something. But other than that, he just looked like a big teenager or young man holding his iPad with his earbuds in his ear. You wouldn't know. And because a lot of and you hit something on the head that me and LT talk about all the time. And he says this, with some of the guys that they hire in his department. Like, there is no real mental evaluation, because you can finesse those questions, okay? You can finesse those questions. All you gotta do is put down the right answers.
And it's an interview. It's an interview, and you telling them what you think they want to hear.
Exactly. And here's another thing. What he expressed to me the other day is, a lot of times these men become police officers because it's their way to bully the bullies.
Mr. Randolph said the exact same thing.
It's their way to bully the bullies.
Mr. Randolph said the exact same thing.
There was an incident here in Baltimore where the guy had an issue with the guy that was bullying him in high school. So he got a chance to bully the bully.
Yep.
Broke his arm, beat him up, all kinds of stuff.
Mr. Randolph said the same thing because he played football in high school and college. Mm-hmm. And so he said a lot of the same things that, say, for instance, the rookie or whatever, may have been holding a grudge because he got pledged like rookies do, and would go off and become a police officer. And yes.
And a lot of them have Napoleon complexes. I mean, it's a whole spectrum of it, that they become police officers for the wrong reasons. And with this Scorpion team, we gotta talk offline, baby. This Scorpion team was put there for a specific reason, and it's more and more evidence is coming out against these young men. These 6 guys, it actually was 7 people out there, so y'all know, it wasn't just 5. It was 7.
No, does that include the 2 deputies that were the 2 deputies?
No, ma'am. Outside of the 2.
So we're talking about total 9.
Total 9 people.
And then you add in the first responders, the EMTs.
Mm-hmm. They were reprimanded. The firefighters were let go as well. And now they're looking into the hospital and what their negligence was as well. So it's bigger than what we know.
So not that it will bring their son back, but there would be that hospital will be named after my son.
Okay.
The police department will be named after my son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The training program will be named after my son. There would be a bill named after my son.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. It's a mess. But when I first heard about it and I saw, I got a chance to see some snippets before it came out, and I automatically said, yeah, that's personal. That was if you listen to what the first cop said when he first pulled him out,
he said,
the vitriol in his throat. Yeah, it looked like the anger and vitriol in his voice. And he was
a traffic stop.
And they tried to say, oh, he was driving erratically. He was trying to get away from, because you have to remember that a lot of these cars are unmarked, and they had hoodies on. So if a dude's coming up to my car with a black hoodie and an unmarked car, what do you think I'm going to do?
Get away.
Okay. Thank you.
And they came out the gate. Get
Yep.
the fuck out of the car, bitch. I'm like, what? For a traffic stop?
And that part about when you said that nobody was looking, nobody was outside, sis.
So it wasn't just me. I'm like, ain't nobody coming outside?
That's the norm. People know not to do that. This particular team put the fear of God in that neighborhood, because this is not the first time that they did this.
So basically what I'm hearing is a legally sanctioned gang activity.
Exactly.
Legally sanctioned gang activity. And what I said yesterday is that, even though I wasn't in the law enforcement, when I raised my right hand, far as my oath of enlistment, my oath of commissioning, I knew it wasn't just about me.
Exactly.
It wasn't just about me.
They don't care about that. It's a paycheck and the way to do what they want to do, It's not the same anymore.
So, this, I want to say that to talk about Tyree for last, because again, it was just too much to take. Now, let me ask you something. Do we know if Tyree was disabled in any shape, form, or fashion? Do we know?
So there is, I wouldn't say he was disabled, but however, there is family members that were saying that he was kind of like had some type of challenges with reading and writing, that kind of thing. But he was a skateboarder.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He was a one of those what do they call it? Those goofy kids that like to skateboard and do tricks and things like that. He was not out there, like he wasn't out in the corner, just like the mother said, was like, my son doesn't drink, he doesn't dress. So what are you talking about? Because they try to put it on, and on that camera they try to set it up, talking about, oh, he had to been on something because he has superhuman strength. Well, if they would go after my son can choke you out in 2 seconds.
Well, here's the thing, it's fight or flight.
A kid with a lot of people that have disabilities that have superhuman strength. I mean, that's just what it is.
My nephew, he's like 6'2". Now he's a skinny drink of water like Mr. Tyree, but he tall.
Right.
But again, he been weightlifting. He, he's in shape. You understand? And plus he's young.
But when that adrenaline start pumping,
exactly,
I think everybody gonna have superhuman strength.
Because you're fighting for your survival.
Lift up cars off their children.
Because you're fighting for survival.
Exactly. But they try to set up their lie. You heard them. Girl, they was trying to get their lie together. I was like, look at this. They just trying to get their lie together.
He went for my gun. I'm like, no, he didn't.
The man had his hands behind his back. How do you mean your gun?
He didn't come. No, the first officers, I think, on the scene when he said that that's what they were trying to say.
Justify the rest. The part that got me the most is when they were and they actually dragged him. He was already handcuffed and they was holding him up to beat him. How you going to justify that, sir?
And then dragged him to lean up against the car like he wasn't like a piece of luggage or something.
Well, heads are going to roll. And it should be. But one thing I do like, I don't care for Benjamin Crump too much.
Me either. But he got this right.
But one thing he said, going forward, this should be the blueprint, regardless of race. This is how it should happen. It should not be no weeks, 2 months, 3 months. No, just as fast as you guys charge them, should be the way it should be going forward.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them don't make it to trial. I'm gonna say that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm with you on that. But the funny thing is about it, if they do that to them, why y'all do that to the other color?
No, I'm talking about some of them may off themselves.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's
Because
what I'm talking
you
about.
got to think about it, because you going to the same place of the people that you put there. Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, let's talk. We don't know the situation with them, but again, coming back to what you said, they come on, they join the force to bully the bullies because they don't have no, they ain't. I'm not gonna say they ain't nothing, but
They the
again,
big man with the gun,
right? So now you're gonna go back to the little man, the little regular man in the joint.
Yeah, I agree. They have
And
no protection. The gun can't protect you. The blue line can't protect you. You're a civilian now, so you about to get it.
yep. So I mean, I don't wish nothing on nobody, but I'll just say I would not be surprised.
I can see that most definitely. But we will see what's going to happen. I'm surprised they all got out on bail.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the defense they're gonna try to come up with.
Now, I do have a question for you though.
Okay.
What is your take on all these other cities tearing up because of this? Because they just acting a fool up in New York, in Atlanta, and they're using this situation as the reason for them to do that. Oh, they tearing up in New York.
Really?
Yeah, they they tearing it up. Yeah, they started last night. I was like, and what is this got to? Yeah,
They just wanted to tear shit up.
Yeah.
So so black folks?
So from what I saw, it's more of the vanilla persuasion out there. But of course, the media always going to show chocolate folks. Now, those who broke into the stores, chocolate folks. See, you see where I'm going?
They just want, in those cases, honey, they just wanted an excuse.
Exactly.
That's
that's why I posted, like, if y'all stay y'all behind home, because this is exactly what they want you to do, and you just falling into the trap.
This is just an excuse, because I would almost understand if Memphis was being towed up.
Right.
but
they're pretty good. They're not doing, they're not tearing it up yet. So
they just wanted to have an excuse.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't see. I'm kind of like on the same fence as the minister Farrakhan. Like, okay, what you marching for? Because I'm trying to understand what you marching, and is the marching really doing anything?
No.
So can we stop the marching and actually do some actions?
We need some laws. That's what we need. Forget marching. We need some laws. We need an overhaul, like somebody put an overhaul of the policing, period. But because the police is a city run.
Right, it is. Yeah.
But again, how do we undo this though? And I'm not sure if we can.
Yeah, I don't think we can.
I'm not sure we can, because again, like I said, the woman was fighting for intervening to keep her partner from choking a guy out.
I saw that, yeah.
And she lost her job and had to fight 10 years to get it back for doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So, and that was over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we can.
Yeah, I guess it has to be, like of a lot of things that we are dealing with. It's going to have to be on a small scale, and hopefully it'll grow. Like, some departments are trying to make a change when it comes to the police in their cities, and hopefully that, it will spread, but to do it on a grand scale, it will be a difficult thing because you have too many cancers within the body.
And that have been there for years.
Exactly. So it's just festering and spreading, turning into other things. Yeah.
And here's the thing, I watch Law and Order, and I watch all. It's interesting, and it's reminiscent of real life. You see, when they try to go after the bad cops, the people who try to go after the bad cops, what they have to go through to get,
punished. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you seen when I do my cop show, I have LT and Diesel on there. That's what happened to Diesel. Diesel. He was one of the ones who tried to make it right and told on the bad cops, and he had to pay the price for it. Yeah. So yeah, that is a real thing, and that actually stops a lot of the good cops from saying anything. Yes. Because they know that they will get, dealt with if they, said anything. And you have to think about it, they have a livelihood too. They have families too. They have children too. So
yeah, they'll get ostracized and wondering if somebody gonna really come to their rescue if they need it.
Exactly. Yeah. That blue wall is something, especially if you one of them and you trying to come against, the clique.
Somebody need to be made an example of, and so be it.
Just so happen it has to be 5 Black folks.
So be it. Because this is disgusting. Like I said, I just get choked up every time I heard him call it for his mother.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I had to turn it off when it got to that part. So I did. I was like, okay, because that just that shook my soul hearing that.
Yeah, we do need to have the good cop standard, but again, like Ms. Ty said, this is what they have to be concerned about, which is unfortunate. And again, I've never been in law enforcement, but in the military, I've had to speak up. And not only in the military, I have spoken up and whistleblowed, if you will. And I'm gonna tell you, even on that level, I have been afraid. I've lost my hair. I felt like they had somebody following me. But I did because I felt it was the right thing to do.
Well, literally, there's a case here where they actually set the cop up to be deleted. They deleted him and his family because he was about to testify, and all of a sudden, somebody carjacked him, and yeah, okay, he was about to tell, so they had to get rid of him.
I mean,
these were his blue line brothers, though.
Yeah. So, people have to really have some intestinal fortitude. And like I said, I've done it. Like I said, I'm not in law enforcement, but I've blown the whistle on some stuff that I've seen. Yeah, it has to start somewhere. And I've always spoken up.
Yeah. And
the last time I spoke up, I was scared. I was looking under my car. I'm serious. I was looking under my car.
You were scanning everything and make sure it wasn't.
I was taking different routes home.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had my equalizer in my car on my. Seriously.
I know.
And like I said, I'm not even in law enforcement when I was dealing with that. Go ahead, babe. What's that?
I said, trust me, I know. I get, even in my profession, I work with the mad scientists, and I have to be very careful what I say and who I talk to, because sometimes I start talking and I start telling stuff and be like, you're not supposed to tell the people that. So I try to do it, subliminal, like, stay away from people because people be doing things out here with these mad scientists. So I try to say it like that. Tell y'all don't be hugging and shaking hands and stuff. If somebody cough, run. Because I know too much.
Yes, exactly.
If you know too much, you have to be very careful what you say because they will come back.
They can see you as a liability.
Exactly. And they will get rid of you.
And like I said, I remember, man, like I said, I was taking different routes home. I was looking under my car. Before I would leave the driveway, I would he's looking around, all that kind of stuff. So it's sad, but this is where we are because again, integrity is lacking in our society.
That's the
most of
word,
us,
integrity.
it's
Yes.
lacking. Integrity and also accountability. There's that
Mhm.
A word again, is lacking in our society. And it's interesting, the ones who do take accountability, who do have integrity, they're the ones that have to pay the price for trying to do the right thing.
They're the ones that get punished.
Just like that lady,
Yep.
just like your friend.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm. So then it's like, okay, well, now what do we do?
Yeah, and then here's the thing. I think this is the same
Oh
one.
yeah, I think I remember that.
And then he went on a rampage.
Yeah, he did.
And ultimately lost his life because nobody was listening.
Mm-hmm.
And he got reprimanded for trying to do the right thing. But
And
again,
you know, another thing, since LT was telling, he was like, people don't understand that law enforcement there's a deeper rabbit hole behind law enforcement. Like it's not just the police department. You are in bed with the crooked politicians. You are in bed with the crooked other people. I don't want to get this channel straight, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it goes deeper than what is on the surface, what we see. There's a lot of layers to reform. It just can't just start with, oh, we just need to overhaul the police department, get rid of all the bad apples. If you want to do that, baby, you got to start with the other folks.
You got to cut the stank off at the head.
Exactly. Now that is the problem.
And I saw, again, I'm watching my Law and Order, and I said, see, that's why
I want to get you out that Law Order.
SVU. I mean, even in the military, after a certain period, I'm like, I don't play politics. Exactly. But again, when you go up in rank in just about anything, there's politics.
There's politics.
And I just wasn't willing to play.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Well, thank you for coming up. I'm about to go ahead and wrap this up. Mr. Randolph is home.
I just had to come up here and show you support. I was in the chat, but had to come up, especially when you start talking about the babies now. Had to come up.
It's scary. Thank you so much.
All right,
I appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, this has been a great conversation. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. You know, it's interesting because, like I said, you know, this year is off to an interesting start, and it's just January. It's just January. But, you know, like Vincent said, you know, we got to start somewhere. We got to do our part. And my part is to, you know, try to not only talk about certain things, but to express my own experiences of where it can tie in to show that I'm not just telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know, what I've experienced, in hopes that maybe somebody can glean something from it. Whether, you know, as it relates to Mr. Christian, and shout out again to Lucky Marie for her video on that, because again, I don't even know who them people were, but I was taken by the story because I could identify with that. I can identify with her. As a young person, I could identify. I could identify with Kayla Kelly, you know, in online dating. I could identify with that. You know, I can identify with the possibility that had my brother not been there, actually, truthfully, my situation, and I've said it before, but I honestly believe it. I honestly believe it, because had my brother not been there, I'm not sure I would be here today. I'm just not. And Tyree Nichols, because again, as you know, Ty and I just talked about, you know, I see my nephew. She sees her son. Again, you know, if they get pulled over or they're with, you know, a friend or a loved one, they just might not really be understanding what's going on. And that's taken as a form of aggression, and then their lives are lost. Only for a cover-up and lies and trumped up charges as to why they had to take them into custody. I can identify with that too. It's scary. It is scary. So we got to continue to talk to our daughters, our nieces, our nephews, our sons, our husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives. We got to talk. We got to educate. And while we're talking, we're still teaching them about integrity, because there is a place for it. Unfortunately, integrity is almost like it's gone the way of the dinosaur. But there are still people who have it. It's a price to pay for having it. But I have to look at myself in the mirror. So thank y'all for joining me. Again, my first live of the year. I'm still trying to figure this thing out as to what I want to do going forward. I just don't know. I'm enjoying my G babies. I'm enjoying being retired. I had a part-time job for a month and a half. And I decided I didn't want to do it. So I quit. I know. So I have to find something else to do, you know. Yeah, I had a part-time job for a month and a half. I got to find something else to do. Yeah. But again, thank y'all for coming by. I appreciate it. Thank you for your engagement. I appreciate that. And let's see. We think anything else I want to say? Anything else? Can't think of anything else. So until next time, ciao for now.
Said the guy story, tell. You don't hear me, I got a story about a girl, yeah. Check. See, I've been up all night, typing this love letter. Open your message, I love you, saying you've been keeping me on red. I know I'm red, I know I'm out there busting the way, just a request. I don't know a nigga wait, drop so I forget how to say. Ain't no pressure, just wanna do time. Something we get to say up on a timeline. She's my type, girl, magic carpet, around, she'll show you things that you can't imagine. Straight hair or fancy girl, right as diamond, ask her, she's my one, girl. Oh, mama.
First we outside, giving me shades of dope. Now I'm walking in pools of water, my geese. So we had to fight that game, but the devil is pleased. I'm on my feet for our penis. Girl, your love is an antidote. Body like a goddess, your beauty on displays. In the front is hills, in the front is shining like this. Shining like who that go to fire, the fire. So wrap your envelope, baby, let's don't beat around bushes, no bad, not a ballerina, but a ballerina, drop jaws and you're dropping words that rain draws, I applause. But these problems, fake feelings, so push shovels to dirt, kicking in my fossils. Every hurt, I trumpet you. I drop down, before don't tell me that they lost size. Every coin, every rose gon' have its nails, my palms spills, rearrange from these themes, cause I see a need.